You know, this is one of the things that I think I enjoy most. We've owned Drury Outdoors and been in the outdoor industry for some 30 years, but one of the coolest things always is seeing a new product. And this is the new Monarch field scope from Nikon. For years, the flagship line of Nikon for their scopes, their hunting scopes, and their binoculars has been the Monarch line. Well, all of a sudden now you've got that price point in a field scope. You're looking at $1,300 to $1,600 depending on options and whatnot with the field scope. We're up here in Alberta with my good friend Corey Jarvis at Three Rivers Adventures, and I don't know anybody that looks through field scopes more than Corey. So we wanted to bring it up here first to help us out on this hunt, and secondly, I wanted to hear from Corey about what he looks for in a field scope and what he actually thinks of this Monarch. I want you to rip it apart if you would, actually.
Okay, well, I was super excited to try it when you brought it up here, and we put it to work the other morning, and we've been using it the whole trip. It works phenomenal. I'm really impressed with it. There's a couple of neat features with it. You know, what you want to see in a good scope, at least for us and what we're doing, you know, you want it to be able to gather light, low light conditions. A lot of scopes, you know, they're so small, you can't gather a lot of light later in the day, early in the morning. This one's got an 82mm objective lens, and that did a great job of gathering light this week, and I was really impressed with that. It's really worked good with the quick focus adjustments here. It's got a good, easy, quick find zoom right here as well, and this is quite a bit lighter than some of the other ones we've used.
Specifically, Corey, like, you've used a lot of glass in your day. You know, we've been up here for probably 13 or 14 years. I've seen you with Leicas, I've seen you with Swarovskis, I've seen you with a variety of different glass. Would you compare this Monarch field scope, after having looked through it all week, with some of that upper end stuff, or where would you place it?
Yes, definitely. It's been phenomenally clear. Like, I mean, it's been super clear to look through. One thing I really thought was interesting, it has a very wide field of view, and you get clarity right to the edges of your field of view, which gives you a really good range. A lot of times you're looking through a scope, you know, the center of it's really clear, but the edges are a little bit faded or blurred, and this wasn't like that, so I was really impressed with that.
I noticed that same feature this morning. We were looking at that big canola field, and I was glassing it with my binoculars at first, but we were looking, what, 1,500 yards across the whole thing, and I couldn't see far enough with my Monarchs, or 10 by 42s. I put that out there, and I had it on wide, 20 power, and I could see like chunks of the field, and everything was crystal clear.
Yep.
It's as if you have a periphery to the actual optic, which I thought was amazing, the fact that you could see everything clearly. The other thing that I noticed when I started to zoom on it, I could crank it in like that,
yep,
and everything came in very quickly. But likewise, if you're looking close and you go counterclockwise, regardless of the distance, you can still bring it in a fine adjustment. So
yeah,
I've not seen one with that much focus adjustment, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's just a little finger adjustment, you know, and you've got to scroll it quite a bit. So that was really nice feature as well on this. It's an excellent scope. I'm really impressed with it. I'm going to be happy to use it and keep using it. So. Yeah. It'll work great up here, I mean, this big open country. I
think for whitetails, I like the fact that they offer a straight one. For deer, I'm so used to looking down a rifle scope, I want a straight scope so I can see my object and then go right into it.
Yep.
Here, it's been kind of nice because it is big country. You can look over it and then come into it and get the right angle, whether you're looking up a mountain or whatever the situation is. But we've been super impressed with this thing. I mean, finally, a Monarch field scope in the Nikon line. I mean, this is something that American hunters have been waiting for a very long time.
You mentioned it earlier that the price point is excellent on it. I mean, for this quality of scope and that price point, I mean, I don't know that you can get a better bargain.
Like, it doesn't really exist, does it? I mean, for what we're seeing, for the quality and the clarity, do you find one in some of that upper end glass at that price?
You know, I would compare it to the similar quality of the upper end scopes that I've looked through, but you know, they're
twice as much.
Thousands of dollars more.
Yeah, so pretty cool. Gotta love it. Thank you, Nikon.
Thank you.